Welcome to Game Related, where we highlight opportunities and obstacles in sports from former athletes with the thought process of giving future generations a better understanding.
These conversations are meant to bring awareness to the hardships and opportunities that come with the game. Let's get game related.
All right, y'all, we got a special guest today. I'm really excited about it. Little backstory. So, when I was 12, 13, they had this summer league called The Rock up at High Point High School. And this man to my right, to me, was my Vince Carter. All right, straight up. If he was playing around this time with social media, I mean, you know how some people are good like dunkers off the court and not in game. Like this man was a in game dunker, and some of the stuff that I used to watch him do was just amazing, right? So we got our guy Eddie Basden here. He's gonna come in and talk to us about his time in Charlotte, you know, becoming a defensive player of the year nationally, his spurt with the Bulls, Turkey overseas championship, and just a lot of game, a lot of knowledge here. All right, so we want to welcome Eddie Basden to the show.
What's up, baby?
Yes, sir.
How y'all
Yes, sir.
doing? Good to see you, good guys, man.
Cool, man. So let's get into it, man. One of the first questions I always ask people, everybody always trying to climb to the top for success, right? But once you get there, maintaining that success is just a whole nother animal, in my opinion. You know, what advice would you give to people trying to maintain that success?
I would say, man, maintaining the success, like you said, it's a process, you know, when you're starting out, because you're figuring out, you know, what works best for me, where do I fit in, what style, you know, all those things, man, that's important. But once you get into your mode, you know what I'm saying? And now it's where do you want to be? You know, what's success for you? You know, like for everybody it's different. For me, my vision, my long goal was, you know, to fulfill my dream, which was to play in the NBA. As we know, you know, I played 2 seasons. You know, my first season was with the Bulls, and then you know I got traded to Cleveland. I was with them for half the season, got released, and then I had a stint with Miami, so that make up my 2 seasons. But man, when I got there, it was more so knowing, you know, knowing what it takes to, you know, be a professional, having, you know, some mentors around you, you know, listening, always evolving, and just, man, being a student, you know, of a game, up to the game for us, and in the real world, you know, being a student in whatever career field you in, and just, man, having a focus, determination, and drive, you know, like if you're doing something, then obviously you're passionate about it, you know, especially if it's not like, you know, something just getting by. So, you know, I just feel like, man, just keeping your circle, you know, evolving, you know, and just asking questions, you know, just being a student.
Cool. So
Have you ever been in a game where your shot just not falling?
yes,
Or you got more turnovers than assists?
all the time.
Sometimes the best way to go is through. For the Good Therapeutic Services can help you turn a loss into a win. FTG is a group of licensed therapists here in the DMV area who help people create a unique formula to get through tough games, challenges, and circumstances.
Yes, give them a call at 571-412-1791 for a free consultation, or visit them online at psychologytoday.com by searching For the Good Therapeutic Services. Again, that number is 571-412-1791 for a free consultation, or you can go online at psychologytoday.com and search For the Good Therapeutic Services. Make sure you tell them to stay game related. All met, had a great high school career. Originally, you committed to UMass, right? And then obviously that changed. You know, what made you decommit and choose Charlotte?
I signed with UMass, man, my junior year.
Mhm.
So, you know, I went on my visits, unofficial, and on my way up to UMass, I stopped at Villanova, I stopped at St. John's, then I ended up at UMass. I verbally committed to UMass when I went up there because, man, it just felt, you know that feeling, like anybody out there when you go through the recruiting process or when you just going through life, man, you get good feelings like about situations and then you're able to make your decision. So I gave them a verbal, it was an all black staff, man, and it just made me feel like I was important, like they was gonna help me become a better man. They understood where I came from and my dynamics. So I ended up verbally committing to them. On my way back, I ended up stopping at Villanova. Steve Lapis was the coach at the time, and the word traveled fast. So I'm like, nah, I ain't commit. You feel me? Whole time I did, and I'm like, how they know so fast? I just was up the road, Boom. So I went did my visit. Boom. I went back. Came back down to Maryland, and everything was cool going into my senior year. But UMass, they had a bad first half of the season, so they ended up firing the coaches. So the whole staff got fired. So when that happened, I'm waiting to see who the next coach gonna be. Just my luck, Steve Lapis ended up getting the job at UMass. So me being young, not knowing who to talk to about the situation, I'm like, man, I can't go there after I done did what I did. That's unloyal, like it's just a lot of stuff that I stood on that I didn't handle correctly with him. So I'm like, nah, he gonna sabotage me. Then you hear about those stories with guys that's good, go to certain colleges, don't get the playing time. They coach might not, really rock with them like they said they would. So, I just asked, UMass, for my intent back, and they granted that. And it was unfortunate because obviously a lot of guys have already committed to all these schools. So I kind of was like looking where I'm gonna go next, what's a good fit. A coach from DC had just got the job at UNC Charlotte. Rodney White went there. So it was kind of, on my radar a little bit. They weren't recruiting me at the time, but it was a school that was still, had openings. So, man, I just said, let me go down here, check it out, man. Charlotte campus was beautiful. It was an opportunity, man, like no other. They didn't have a football team at the time, so they was getting a lot of the press. And then, like you said, man, Rodney was there. He just won Conference USA Freshman of the Year. So I'm like, the coach lets you play if you're able to play. And I knew what I brought, to the team at that time. So I'm like, man, this is where I'm gonna come. So I ended up rocking out with the coach from here. Man, I say his name, Nickelberry. He got the job down there. And then, man, from there it was, sky's the limit.
Nice. It looked like every year you kept getting better, right? And so, like the adjustment from high school to college, like, did you immediately carve out space? Like, what adjustments did you had to make from high school to college, and then also, your freshman, sophomore, junior year, like your role changed? Like, what occurred that allowed you to continue to progress?
So, man, what most people might not know is, man, off the break, I had, adversity I was facing because that summer going into my freshman year, I ended up playing in like a charity game and I ended up getting hurt, so I had torn my meniscus partially. So going into my freshman year, I was scared to call the team and everything and let them know because I probably wasn't supposed to be playing in this game. But I ended up calling them, letting them know. I went down there, ended up getting the surgery done right before this training camp started. And
How long was you out for?
I probably supposed to be out for like 8 weeks, but I ended up coming back early. Obviously, we young, we healing fast, you feeling good the whole time. Every time I would get out there and go crazy, like go hard and push myself, my knee would swell up, man. So, the trainer down there, he told me, he said, look, you're gonna have to stay up off it. He said, we're gonna do, I feel good and I'm out there with the team. So that caused me to have swelling throughout the season. So I really didn't get the playing time that I probably was looking forward to because I was coming off the injury. They weren't monitoring me. My swelling was, up and down. And so with that being said, from the jump, like knew I had to work harder than everybody else, You know what I'm saying? I was ahead of the guys. Obviously, you know, like you said, man, I know cocky, but you know, my talent and just my athleticism had me, you know, ahead of guys. Like you might have guys that got to work on that stuff, but because, like you said, they wanted to see something every year, I got better. It wasn't. It was every year I got better, but it was also I just had to show different phases of my game. So in high school, I'm dunking, I'm getting steals, I'm flying, I'm finishing at the basket. You know, I'm getting fouled. That I'm, you know, in transition. You know, that was our style of play. In college, they packing it in. They got more schemes. Now you gotta, you know, within the plays, the system of a team. So I'm showing that. So each year they would say, well, okay, we didn't see this or we didn't see that. So that's what I would go and work on, you know, each summer, just focus on one thing, you know, and man, it just worked out. Like I said, I had a good, you know, staff. You know, they had, you know, guys that work on the ball hand and guys that shooting coaches, you know, and defensively, you know, that was just, you know, my knack, you know what I'm saying? So
We're gonna get into that.
yeah, so you know, just man, just the scouts, man, saying, "Oh, we didn't see this. Oh, can he do this?" That's what made me work on all, you know, my different skill sets each and every year and every summer, you know, to end up being better. And you know, by my senior year, you know, all the coaches in the conference, obviously I was player of the year, and all the coaches in the conference, you know, they said, man, he probably the most complete player they've seen, you know, in a while, man. And you know, that was just a testament to my coaching staff and the guys that pushed me, my teammates, you know, that was there helping me, giving me some insight on how to, you know, continue to grow and be better.
Okay, so we gonna go definitely when you already said that playing defense, that was your thing. So and want to commend you on, you know, you won defensive player of the year back to back in Conference USA and won a nationally defensive player of the year. So definitely talk about playing defense and how much pride you took in that and how do you develop that skill set, because definitely playing defense is not easy. You definitely have to put a lot of work in and we already know a lot of people don't even want to play defense anyway. So just kind of talk about that.
So obviously, you guys played, you know, as well. So you know, you guys, you know, wasn't too bad yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you know, in this area, man, this area breeds players. So no matter what AAU team you on, no matter what club team you on, no matter what rec you walk into, man, this guys that could boogie. You know, and like I said, I'm from New York, so when I got here, I had to kind of like prove myself, make a name for myself, and let guys know, like, you know, nah, I'm not this real. You know what I'm saying? So you know, everybody want to do the scoring. You know that's what looked good, and I knew I could get a bucket. You know, when necessary, when needed. So my thing was just, man, come in, how I'm gonna get on the court. You know, guys want guys that could do other things. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, I'm sitting on the sideline, I see, okay, man, he gonna shoot every time he get the ball. Man, he not gonna pass the ball. You know, I see guys getting frustrated. I'm like, so how can I, you know, get in the game? So I'm like, man, I just need to, you know, take more pride in, you know, stopping guys. And plus you don't want nobody busting your ass, pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just like, that was just my mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't mean to keep referencing New York, but when you come from, you know, the concrete jungle, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something that's just built inside you, you know, that make you different. So I just, man, I saw guys get after it early on. You know, when I was in New York, I came up on Soul in the Hole, you know, that basketball tournament. So Ed Booger Smith, Charlie Jones, you know what I'm saying? Those guys, I was six basketball court, man, watching. And I'm seeing, you know, how rough and tough it is and how you just had to have that grit and just tenacity. So, you know, just seeing it, you know what I'm saying? When you see it firsthand, you know, it's different from somebody telling you and then you know, not really out there, but, you know, they putting you on a five. But I saw firsthand what it took, you know, to be, you know, one of the top dogs, man. And that's why, you know, I put so much pride in the, you know, playing defense. Because first of all, no, you're not going to get the best of me. And, you know, the best man wins. And, you know, I was, you know, thank God, man, I was always a winner on my side.
So like nowadays, they got this thing called two-way player, right? But like back in the day, like there was like you had to play defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like what do
Yeah.
you feel about like I know we're gonna talk a little bit later on about the game and how it is played now, but like how do you feel about how people just get labeled as a oh you're a defensive guy when back in the day, like you if you didn't play defense for the most part, like you really wasn't getting no burn or it was tough for you to get minutes.
Nah, see, so a two-way player thing now, when you look at it, man, we know what the game has evolved into, and it's always been entertaining. But obviously, it took, you know, different strides each decade. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, when we was coming up, man, we came up off of watching, you know, the Pistons and you know the Bulls going at it, the Knicks and the Bulls going at it with the Pacers, and how were they playing? They was rough, they was tough, it was physical. So we came up on that. Now the game was evolving, so the youngers that came up watching us, they see that okay, it's going Allen Iverson, it's going, you know, you can't really touch the defender, like you know how it was going during that time when we watching the game. So the guys, you know, Steph Curry changed the game, you know, on that offensive end, and you know, putting up a lot of threes, and that whole style Mark Jackson kind of created for them. And guys, you know, their skill set is a lot better. You know, like they working with these trainers. So it's kind of, if you're gonna be a defensive player, this and in this day and age, you're gonna really be working. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's four guys that's offensively skilled and can get it off the shots and all that. So, man, it's like you gotta pick your poison. You know, on what you want to perfect. You know, your craft. Then, so the two-way player thing, cool, but that was just normal for us back then. You know what I'm saying? Because if you weren't playing defense, you're gonna be on that bench, like you said. And you know, if you couldn't get a bucket or be, you know, a positive to, you know, your team on offense, then you weren't gonna play. So you had to just work on everything. Yeah.
Okay, so we want to go into that 04-05 season. That was definitely you won the defense player of the year for that year nationally. Y'all went to the tournament. Let's talk about the ups and downs of that season.
Man, so that was my senior season going in. And obviously we've been to the tournament. So our goals was to get back and go further.
Was y'all trying to get to like the Sweet 16? At least
Man,
that's
we was
what
trying to get to the championship. You
Okay.
know, we got the right bracket, you
Yeah.
know. Obviously you gotta have confidence within yourself and your team in order to even make it to the tournament. So, you know, we won our conference championship, you know, and that was a fun season because I'm not gonna say it really was ups and downs, because by that time as a senior, you know, you kind of know the ropes and all that. You know who you playing up against, so you just looking forward to these matchups. So, you know, I had guys like, man, Francisco Garcia, Marquis Perry over at St. Louis, man, Jeremy Hunt, Rodney Carney down at Memphis. These guys' names was kind of like buzzing, you know, at the time. And, you know, I built my name up, obviously, for 4 years playing. So they knew about me. But they talking about these guys gonna be the MVP, the player of the year, and, you know, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, man, wait till I see him. You know, so my senior year, I pretty much just had the checklist, you know what I'm saying? Like, this game right here, I know what to do. I know what I got to show. I know who I'm matched up against. And my team, man, you know, shout out to Coach Luce and the staff, but they had the pieces we needed to be successful. And, you know, we all worked hard. And like you said, we made it to the tournament. We got put out, you know, first round. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a task. So I was kind of looking ahead. But, you know, I played well, man, that game, man. They just got us. You know, we was up by 20 at half. So we looking like, man, yeah, we on to the next.
Like
this second half, just, man, we weren't getting no calls, you know, and it just kind of was like, you know, the best man win, and they got us. So, you know, that year, man, it was special because I knew if I played the way I knew I, you know, could and should, that I would have the opportunity to win. some accolades, which was the Player of the Year, back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year. And in that Conference USA, was only 2 other players that ever did that. And that was Dwayne Wade and Kenyon Martin. So I knew if I stood in that class, then it's a no-brainer going into the draft and stuff like that. But, it didn't work out the way it worked out for them. It don't work out, for the people the same way. But, man, it definitely got me in there, so.
For sure. For sure. Definitely. I feel like in finding this out, doing the research that at Charlotte, you got your jersey retired.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's one of the most commendable accolades right there to, anytime you go back to it, you're going to see your name up in the rafters. That's definitely special. So definitely tell us how that feels.
Man, so that's a whole different, feeling in itself, because it's the university, it's the alumni, it's the people, it's the town, recognizing, what you brought to, the team. And, we was in the community, so a lot of that stuff plays a part. And I just was all around guy, man, to where, I just felt good that I was, honored, and appreciated. So when I got that call, man, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, really? Because it probably happened I graduated in 05, probably happened like 10 years later. I want to say 2015. And man, at that time, I'm in my professional career, and it's like, I saw most guys who got their jersey retired play long NBA careers. So it's like, man, I was overseas at the time, and they still was keeping an eye on me and just, wanted to pay that respect. And so, man, that's probably one of the biggest moments in, my life. Like you said, my kids gonna be able to go down there, 20, 50 years from now. I'm in the rafters. Some of the guys from this area, it motivated. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Quinn Cook, Chris Matthews, lethal shooter. They all been down Charlotte. They all made their way through. And some other guys too, but I'm just saying those 2 names because they, notable names. And, they called me, man, man, this is dope right here, man. I'm looking at this joint, man, send chills through me, man. Let me know, anything possible. And, it's funny because those guys, obviously, they took off in their perspective, lanes. And to just inspire other guys like that by just seeing the hard work that I put in, and any questions that they ask me, they know that it's facts behind it. Like I really put the work in. I ain't take no days off. And that's just what it takes, man, just staying true to, who you are and your craft, man.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's jump into your professional career, right? Agents, right? How did you go about selecting it? Did they find you? Did you find them? Like, what was that process like?
So man, that whole thing back then, it's different now, obviously. So I'm gonna just be going back then. So back then, they would come to your games, they'll watch you, they see what's going on, if they take a liking into you. So I had probably 3 agents, that was like trying to get me to work with them. Mm-hmm. And one guy was just starting out. One guy been in the game for a while. And then one guy, his father was an agent. His uncle was an agent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have 3 different guys in their career, but we not thinking like this. I know now, but back then I'm just like, oh, my man who don't have many players, he can't do nothing. That's how I'm thinking. Then the guy in the middle, I'm like, he got a lot of players, so where I'm gonna fit in that? And then I'm like, this guy that's have years in the game, he has solid players. He don't have a lot, but he got the right guys. And I know, if I go with him, he's gonna be able to use some of his guys as leverage to get me, on. Mm-hmm. So, man, I ultimately ended up picking my agent because of my best friend, Delonte West at the time. He had entered the draft before me, and so he already went through, the whole process. So I just, man, follow his path, man, and I ended up choosing the same agent he had, which was the Goodwin brothers out of Cali, out of LA, out of the West Coast. Oakland area, and man, they had everybody, at the time, man. Dwight Howard, Gary Payton, uh, Darius Miles,
Mm.
LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they had all the power names, and I'm just like, man, well, if I'm one of them guys that's on the cusp, maybe he could use that leverage. So I end up going with him. But whole time in hindsight, I probably should have went with the guy that had the less players that probably was just starting out because he was more eager, he was more hungry. You know what I'm saying? So he was going to prove himself. He was from the area, so he was going. He had to do everything the right way, especially if he wanted to get more players from this area. So it's just a different kind of pride. It's a different kind of strategy going into it. But obviously, that later on down the line. So what I would tell, anybody or any kid watching, just do your homework and just see what fit is best for you. Like I said, I went with what my best friend had. I saw his path and I'm like, man, I'm just going to follow that blueprint. But that's not going to work for everybody every time.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, make your own decisions as a man and what was best for you. So I ended up going with those guys. I ended up switching agents, a couple years later. Ended up going with a guy by the name of Eric Fleischer. And then that was kind of like my overseas guy.
Mm-hmm.
He got me on my top deals overseas. And man, we had a great, relationship.
Did you stay with him for the entire career?
Yeah, until the end. Probably like my last 2 countries, I ended up signing with a different guy. When then I was playing in South America and they just had a better, market over there. So yeah, I ended up staying with Eric Fleischer, man, and that was a good relationship, So
Good.
yeah.
So let's talk. You didn't get drafted, but you got a bunch of tryouts, and you ended up carving out some space with the Bulls.
Mhm.
Walk us through that process of their NBA workouts. Like, did you square up against like a couple people to beat them out? Like how did you earn that spot?
Man, so my agent, man, they had me. I tried out for every team.
Yeah.
29 teams. You know what I'm saying? Every week I was going 2 workouts a week. And obviously I was matched up against all the guys, all the shooting guards, all the point guards. So I was seeing all the guys that they had on the board ahead of me. The Nate Robinsons, the Linus Calazas, Julius Hodge, Francisco Garcia, Anthony Roberson, Allen Anderson, just to name a few. And those are friends of mine. So, I like these, put shine on their name. But these are the guys that I'm going up against. And each and every workout, man, I felt like I got the best of them. You know what I'm saying? Like it was competitive. It was definitely a dogfight, but I felt like I showed each and every team what I could contribute to a team. And man, to go through all 29 teams and not get drafted, that was kind of like disappointing, but it also put, that chip, on my shoulder and that hunger even more for me to, now like I gotta prove myself. I gotta keep proving myself. So that's all it's ever been, each level you gotta keep proving yourself and whatnot. But that whole process, man, it was fun. When you get there, y'all get right to it. They put you through a bunch of drills, conditioning. They want to see, your athleticism. Then y'all playing 2-on-2, one-on-ones. You know what I'm saying? Might run up and down depending on how many guys you got. You're doing a bunch of skill tests, and I was knocking them out the park. Like man, I was blessed, man. I was, I was just one of them guys, man. The IQ was high, athleticism was good, and then my skill set grew, as I worked in college. So, it didn't go how I wanted it. I could break that down draft night, and I was supposed to get picked in the first round, probably like at like 21. 21, I think Denver had the pick. And Denver had 2 picks that year, and they ended up picking up Julius Hodge and Linus Calazas.
Mm-hmm.
When they did that, I kind of just felt like, man, they probably picked him because they beat us in the tournament. So they probably felt he was more ready. You feel me? Yeah. I don't know. That's just, stuff you put in your head when things don't go your way. You got to get you a little motivator. You know what I'm saying? So that was mine. And I'm like, okay. So they went ahead and picked him. Second round came. Toronto wanted to draft me at like 32, but they wanted to send me overseas for my first year, like on some developmental kind of vibe. And I just was like, nah, I won't play in the NBA. You know, that's what I've been working hard for. But I didn't understand that dynamic, and I didn't have, you know, a mentor, somebody that was in the game that could tell me the benefits about signing with him now, going overseas, and you know, it working out later on down the line. So I kind of, you know, told him thank you, but you know, some teams that don't have picks this year that want to sign me as if they had a pick, and that was Chicago Bulls and the Dallas Mavericks. I end up going with the Bulls, you know, obviously because I was a fan. And then I just felt like, you know, when I looked at the roster, that's somewhere I could, you know, get playing time immediately. They needed big guards. They was talking about defense and that being something that they needed to fill a role for that upcoming season. So I'm like, man, it's perfect for me. And the coaching staff, you know, they was high on me. And right after the draft, man, they called me, say, hey, we want to, you know, give you a contract as if, you know, you were drafted, and then we'll see you, you know, when you get in. So then that's how it all worked out. Man, I agreed, flew to Chicago, signed the contract, and then we was right to Summer League. So, you know, Summer League, now I got the chip. Now I'm like, okay, all these guys went ahead of me. I'm going to show these teams. Just like all the stories we ever heard of guys that fell, you know, late in the draft or they didn't get drafted and had to, you know, come in on a different angle. That summer, man, I think I was the top, like, rookie in the Summer League, in Vegas Summer League. You can look it up, you know, you could Google it. But I think I was number 1 or 2. I know I got the best of everybody that went ahead of me when we went head up, you know what I'm saying, throughout the summer. And I want to say we lost in the championship. Yeah, we lost in the championship Summer League. I want to say maybe Nate Robinson ran away with the MVP, you know, that summer. But yeah, everybody, man, that went ahead of me that I went toe-to-toe with at any of them workouts, yeah, I definitely got the best of them, man. And the Bulls was really excited. And then I just had to get to working, you know, for the upcoming season. And, you know, that was a whole different beast and situation. But
I was gonna ask you, what was that season like with them?
Man, it wasn't what I expected, obviously, because if in the press you're telling the people what you looking to fill, what roles you looking to fill, and you got a guy that can do that, I would expect that he would, you know, get the opportunity to play. And man, I'm working hard in practice. You know, I was the only rookie on my team. So, you know, I'm an hour and a half before practice, I'm there. An hour and a half after practice, I'm there. I'm putting the work in. I'm showing these guys, you know, that I want to be here and that I'm trying to learn. And, you know, it just wasn't adding up. I wasn't getting playing time, you know, but I'm working. But then I had to look like, okay, this is more of a business now. You know what I'm saying? I got to play my part. You know what I'm saying? My time will come. You know, let me stay positive. I'm giving myself all these, you know, talks in my head. But also I'm asking my agent, like, man, what's going on? You know, like I see who I got in front of me. They playing so-and-so. And I'm like, man, but I know I could contribute. Every time I get a couple minutes, man, I'm on the positive side. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's tough because you want to get out there, man. And you seeing all the other guys that just came in with you getting playing time. And you're like, man, if they are able to do this in the league, man, let me just get in here and get my confidence up, you know, learn the game, and I could be doing the same thing and even more. So that first season, man, it was trials and tribulations, man. And, you know, mentally I had to develop, you know, a lot faster because, man, you can psych yourself out and be out of the league, and you know, to take away your confidence. You know, you thinking you could play with these guys, but then you ain't getting the time or you're not getting the opportunity. And it's like, man, maybe I ain't. But I never had that. I knew. I'm in practice with them. And when I got in the game, I was always doing something, you know, to help my team win or to help bring them back. Maybe I get in when we down 20, when they having a slow start. Then I come in there and give them a spark. But then I get right out the game once we bring them back, stuff like that. So, you know, you just got to stay focused within that in the moment. And, you know, that's pretty much how that first season went. You know, when I got some real playing time, played extremely well, 12 points, 9 points, 3 steals, couple rebounds. The media will always ask after the game, man, Basden, man, every time he gets in, he have a good game, man. He give you positives in all categories. Why not give him more time? But I understood, and my coach was up against, his job because he had to make the playoffs again that year. And he just wanted to go with the guys that he went to war with before, that he could trust. He didn't know with a rookie, what he was going to get, even though I was showing it every day. But that's different when you get in the game. But they used to always ask him, and he used to say, man, we just, slowly developing them, working them in. So that's how that went that first year.
Who was y'all coach then?
Scott Skiles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Scott Skiles was the coach. And, man, I like Scott, man. Like, hard-nosed guy. He was about his business. Like, you had to.
So you played, I want to say what, like 15 years pro,
Yeah.
right? So it's almost like a continuation of that first question. Like what sacrifices do you feel like you made to play that long? That's an extremely long time to play. Like, what did you give up? Did you give up anything? You know what I mean? To be able to play for that, had that longevity.
Once I started traveling abroad, but man, once I went to Turkey that first year, man, that opened my eyes to the world, outside of basketball, man, and it just was a whole different experience that I enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? And I was learning more about, the world and, just, finding myself. You maturing as a man, you on your own, you in a different country and that you've never been in. And it's like, man, how do I navigate through this? The common denominator was basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I related to, my other teammates, and, they kind of end up showing me the ropes, taking me in. And, just to be able to sustain that was just, being a good teammate. You had to produce, like if you're not producing, man, then you'll be out of there, that week, if not the next week, depending on how lean the team is. But I was blessed, man, because I was on, top teams in each country that I ever played in. I had the NBA stamp, so that kind of helped me get into those EuroLeague teams. And man, my first year over, man, we won the championship, in Turkey. And I joined that team midway in the season, and they was looking for us to make a strong run in EuroLeague, but we ended up losing in the Elite Eight. And then we just focused on our country's tournament, the Turkish championship, which we won. And that was, man, that was an experience in itself. My first professional championship. And man, it's nothing like it, especially playing overseas, because the passion that the fans have within the game is completely different from the energy from NBA to overseas.
Did you have a chant? Did they have a chant for you?
But yeah, of course they did.
Can
but
you give us an example of the chant?
Nah, because it was in their language. You know what I'm saying? But I just know, man, they used to go crazy when, man, you get a dunk, fast break, you get a steal. They knew me for, my defense, man. And man, every time I get a steal, they go crazy. I had some good veterans on my team, man. So I stepped into good situations, man. And man, it was just opportunities, man. I took advantage of and made the most of.
You were definitely in Turkey. You definitely made the most of that because you got Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely spoke how special that year was, and how you grew, as a man, like you said, from being away from home and being on your own. But then to go back to, 15 years playing, being dedicated, working out, like that's tough. And what routines, or far as lifting weights or dieting, what routines that you had to kind of instill just to kind of maintain that 15 years?
So when you've been doing this all your life, it's just second nature. It's like we wake up in the morning, brush our teeth, wash our face, tie our shoes, and then we to the basketball court. And that was as kids. Obviously, we had school, but once it's your life, once it's your job, then it's like your everyday. It's just second nature. I just wanted to put the work in. It's how hungry I was. It's where I was trying to get to. It's what my family needed. You know, all these things motivated me to just like keep going. You know, like I said, our area is so special, man, that it builds our competitive nature early. You know, so once it's Paul's in you, it's in you. You know what I'm saying? And I like I said, man, my agent was such a good agent, man. He could just navigate each team for me and put me in the best situation. So later on in my career, um, obviously it was young guys coming, you know, behind me. And my agent just positioned me with the right teams, like to be the vet on a team. So like my last couple of years, I was just really going to the team to be more like a, you know, like how you got an Andre Iguodala with Golden State.
It's leadership.
I get in the game and, you know, get my 12 points, get 20 if they need me that game to, you know, whatever. But I was more so being a leader and just being a, you know, role model for, you know, the young guys coming up, which, man, I'm proud of because those guys went on to be successful, you know, watching me, watching my professionalism, you know, each and every day just bringing it. You know, those guys went on to make millions, you know, and obviously the game changed where, you know, they started giving out more money. But those guys went on to have good careers and, you know, make some good money for themselves and their family. So that's another, you know, like proud moment, you know, when you know, steer guys in the right direction. So that my agent came to me, he was like, listen, I got these, you know, couple guys. I'm trying to show them the right way. They haven't been overseas. They don't know nothing about it, man. I need you to guide them. So with that responsibility, man, I want to say that kept me probably another 4 years extra, you know, just with those guys. And shout out to those guys because they helped me, you know, keep a job, you know, a little longer, man. So, you know, shout out to my guy Chris Lofton and went to Tennessee, and my man Bo McClair from out of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are my, you know, young guys. And my man Jamon Gordon that went to VTech.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
So, you know, those are my guys, man.
He's a lefty, right?
Yeah.
Was there like a big adjustment from playing in the league and then playing overseas? Did you like one more than the other?
Well, look, let me put this out there. All situations overseas are not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was on either the top 1, 2, or 3, like in that league, and they played in Euro League, they played in Euro Cup. Anything after that, man, you don't know what the conditions was gonna be. You know, everybody's not getting paid the same. Like, it's a drastic difference, big drop in pay. So a lot of guys, man, they just gotta really be motivated, you know, with that overseas thing, because you might go over there and you might just be getting $2,000 a month your first season when you building up your resume, building up yourself. And I seen guys go from $2,000 a month to $25,000 a month in 2 years, you know. So that's, you know, they bump 100%. You know, you $250,000 a year after making $30,000 a year. Like, you really like got to put that work in. So I seen, man, a lot of guys, you know, travel that route. But for me, man, when I went over, man, to be honest, it was just like I was in the NBA. You know, the treatment, you know, the game. Because obviously all the guys, man, from EuroLeague, the foreign guys in the league, that's where they come from. And then all the guys that probably was on the cusp in the NBA, when you go over, you go play in EuroLeague. So the competition is, you know, all still relevant, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, we hear from the story, you see AI went over there, Darren Williams, you know, during the lockout. So it just shows you like, yeah, the competition is still, you know, high. But, you know, you just gotta want it, you know, and yeah, the NBA, it's a business for real. You know, like you really gotta get with your agent and map out how you see your career going or what's best for you, like your best fits. Overseas, man, when you get over there, you really just gotta ball out. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna play. So, you know, they won't be signing you for you to be sitting and chilling. Like, you're gonna play. So you just really going over there, man, to go do what you do. And then come back and hopefully you get your shot back in the league. But, you know, the difference just lifestyle probably, just being in the country. a foreign country where, you know, they might not speak your language. You know, you might be the only black person in the whole town. Like it's a lot of stuff. But man, my upbringing, it prepared me for, you know, the life that I live, man. Because you know, my personality, I'm able, you know, to mix and interact, you know, with all cultures. You know, man, going to Roosevelt definitely helped me that it wasn't a culture shock because we were so diverse, you know, with the people, opposed to going to a high school where it probably is all black. And then you go to college, you see your first, you know, white person for the first time, and then you go overseas, all white foreign, like it can be a culture shock. But for me, man, you know, I was blessed and I jumped right in. I traveled the world young. So, you know, I kind of knew, you know, I just wasn't scared, you know, wasn't nervous. I know a lot of guys that don't go overseas because they just like, nah, I ain't going. It ain't for me. And I'm like, man, you missing out. It's a whole nother world over there, a whole nother situation to tap into, man, where if you just take the time to do your research, like you'll see it to be beneficial.
What's one thing that I would say people don't know about overseas? You know, like they have this thought process as overseas, oh, you having a great time. Like, what's one thing that I would say that most people don't understand about that lifestyle?
Man, almost the biggest thing is, man, it's not what, you know, America portrayed to be.
Right?
You know, when we hear anything about overseas, it's always something negative. You know what I'm saying? Wars and, you know, them not liking Americans and things like that. What I tell people, man, is they're probably the most, man, selfless humans, you know, because they live a life of life. You know, things don't make them over there. They got family. Family means something to them. They got a culture. They got tradition they stand on. Not saying we don't have that here in America, but you know, a lot of it
But
is, you
it
know,
ain't that strong.
it's not as strong. You know, for example, when we turn 18, our parents and family ready to kick us out to the world and all that over there. You could pretty much stay with your family. They're going, you know, prepare you for, you know, what's next, the next phase, man. And I just think that's so powerful because, you know, we need that because we don't know. And why would you want to, you know, send your child into the world not knowing with no resources and none of that? And that's what make, you know, Americans so strong and vigilant because we come from them circumstances where we gotta figure it out, bootstraps, lace them up. We ain't had nobody. A lot of people had them stories where, you know, I just had to figure it out. But over there, you kind of like walk through the process. You're taking care of your family,
Let me ask you, all right, Eddie Basden, I need you to get a bucket, right? Coach Eddie, I need you to get a bucket. Where you telling him you want the ball, and what's your move? You can have a counter move too, but like, what you doing
Man, I'm probably just 1-4 flat.
at the top?
Yeah, 1-4 flat. Because it's a basketball foul.
Okay.
You know, as long as I don't settle, you know, and you know, I'm locked in. You know, a lot of times you get that 1-4 flat and you get a little, you know, lazy with it or a little cute with it. But if it's like championship game on the line, we down by one, yeah, 1-4 flat. And, you know,
You get into the cup,
yeah,
or
I'm
you
getting to the
pulling up?
basket. I'm saying what depending on the defender. But you know, the first option is, you know, get to your right to left, see if you get them leaning. You get them leaning, you might pull because the rhythm. You know, you get him right to left, he don't lean. You might keep going. You might body, jump, stop, try to finish over top. You know, I was a big guard, man. So, you know, or I might just, man, hezzy and get past him and take off. It's a few different variables, man. But yeah, we definitely going at least overtime
Okay.
because I'm going to get fouled and get to that free throw line. So,
So that transition out of hoops, I mean, I know I had a tough time with it. You know, like how was that for you? You know, like did you struggle? Like even something simple as the team take care of everything, right? Now all of a sudden you go to the doctor, you get sick, you getting a bill Like, what is a deductible? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like cashing checks. You know what I mean? Like that transition out of sports where everything was kind of, I ain't gonna say we was baby, but we
We
got
was catered
everything. We
to.
was catered
You know
to,
what I'm
and
saying?
now you in this real world and you trying to figure this thing out. You know,
Man,
like how was that transition?
it's funny you asked that question, man, because still to this day, I'm 40, man. I'm 40. And I still talk to my mother about stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I needed help with my resume one time, for example. And I'm reaching out, I'm asking, like whoever around me or whoever I know. And they ain't really helping me. So I'm like, it's just crazy because I really don't know how to set it up. I'm going online, I'm trying to figure it out. But I'm like, something as simple as that and trying to apply for a job or just, get it out there in the circuit, see what's next. I said, man, we so used to them bringing us the paperwork, the contract. Hey, this your new health plan. Boo, you just signed. Oh, okay, you got to be here Tuesday at 12:45. We got an interview. You got commercial. You got to shoot. Like they are doing pretty much everything for you. We just show up, and that's what we know how to do. We show up and we perform. We show up and do what we do best. So after basketball, that whole pivot, man, I want to say, if I ain't speaking from just myself, we probably sit in a fade, like a fuzzy moment for probably minimum a year,
Yeah.
but probably
longer than that. I
2 to 5,
might say
2
5
to
or
5.
6.
You know what I'm saying, for sure, because it's like you can't just jump right into a coaching job, or you can, but it just depends on what level you want to start at. But guess what? It's so many people trying to be coaches, so many people training, you're kind of psyching yourself out. Like, well, they already got a lot of trainers. Well, how am I gonna be different? Like, at least that was my situation. I'm like, okay, this dude ain't even play ball. He over here training and that. Like, come on, man. But his business flourishing and he really helping the youngins. So it's like, man, do I want to step on his toes? If I jump out there, then I know them kids gonna come with me. They go with the names and, the resumes. So, man, I just psyched myself out for so many years on just getting started doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to do it. Whatever's on your mind, you can't, think about it too much because, like, you will psych yourself out, like I said. But, man, I probably was in a little fade, like a little fuzzy moment for like 5 years. And I'm just chilling, living. You know what I'm saying? I'm back home. I'm seeing guys I went to high school with. I'm, with some of the homies that I haven't seen in years. So now I'm just kicking it with them. We going to watch the game at the spot. We catching up. You just mix and mingling back in the mix, trying to see what's going on. So that happened probably for like 5 years until I start getting, intentional about what I want to work on and what path I want to travel next. And obviously, why reinvent the wheel? We've been doing this since we was jits. So it's like, man, you got to stay within that realm. When you try to do other things, unless you got buddies that's doing government contracting in the entertainment world and they can merge you right into a situation, that's not every situation. That's like one in a million where you walk right into something smooth and, you're not really affected by, basketball being over. But man, we all go through it. A lot of us, man, fall off, man, after that. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, these type of, interviews and just even if we wasn't having this interview, we spoke off, Cam and we was working together doing the training. And that helps guys, get it, figure it out. Come with me, let me show you. I've been out a little longer than you. This what I got going on. This what's going on. So, you just gotta stay in tune with what's going on at the times and with your people. You can't get distant. You can't, isolate yourself because once you do that, that's what drives you crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Amen to that.
Yeah. So you just gotta, man, stay, insert yourself around the right people, man. That's going, uplift you and keep you motivated.
All right, so how you feel about the game now? Cause like we were talking on camera, the kids is different, the drive is different. Um, it seems like it's more entertainment now. Like, you know, they might be doing it for the gram, or
For sure.
you
For
you
sure.
hear people in the locker room and they on Instagram, like,
Yeah.
not really being locked in or forgetting the love for the game.
Yeah. Man, see, we gonna see it a different way because during our time, we was brought up different. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So that's kind of, it's normal for these guys now. You know what I'm saying? They're getting the money a lot earlier, a lot sooner,
A
and a
lot
whole lot
more.
of it. And obviously we were the ones before them were the ones who set it up for them this way, who got it, to be, as luxurious and, lavish as it is now. Like I look back and I'm looking at these NIL situations and I'm like, man, if I'd have had that opportunity in college, man, I probably have been up 5, 10 million just because I was the face of my university. I was one of the top players, during that time, you know, and I could have been having a lot of endorsements and sponsorships. So, you kind of look and you be like, man, these guys got it too good and stuff like that. But man, I'm happy for them. It's definitely what the game needed. But as far as the competition in the game, I'm saying they a lot more skill. They bringing the younger guys in right away. So it's kind of like they still playing with their AAU team. You know what I'm saying? So they out there just having fun, man. And the last of the Mohicans with the KD and LeBron and Steph and them. With this being them being the old heads now in the league, the vets. It's kind of like the median age on the team is 25.
hmm
No
When I was
limits.
when I was coming into the league, the median age was 28, 30. You know what I'm saying? You had guys 36, 37 still playing, not just 3, 4, but like throughout the league.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So,
Do you
you
think we
know,
need more vets like around?
absolutely, absolutely, because the vets are the ones who show you the way.
yeah.
You
Trying to be a
know,
professional.
and man, it's man, we see what's going on. We see guys not being able to control their emotions, getting into domestic disputes, about to throw the whole career away.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We see, I hate to bring it up, but Ja Morant's situation, with Derrick Rose being over there now, I'm sure that, he'll have him under, his arm and, show him the way. Because you got to know to be professional. You get all this money, okay, man, it's more than you ever had, you ever seen. You're able to do whatever you want any given day of the week. Like you get a different kind of bravado, like you get
yeah.
a different kind of
Kind
emotion.
of lose touch
Yeah,
of reality a little bit.
yeah. And then like they're into so many different things. You know what I'm saying? They on the TikTok, they on this, they on the Twitch, they playing a video game, they want to be famous, they GTA, they want to be in the rap videos. Like back in the day, it was more exclusive. Like you couldn't just call up a rapper. Y'all just wasn't connecting and all that. Everybody had you know what I'm saying? So we
hmm
wasn't, unless you grew up with that person and we knew him, it wasn't no linking, it wasn't no all that. Now we just living in a world, man. Now it's just entertainment, man, and everybody doing it for the gram. And look, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. And that's the way of the world, and that's how it's moving. We got to stick to some solid principles. We got to get back to the basics. I think a lot of guys I think do a lot too much talking. They giving out too much. On these podcast interviews, and you want to give, but we live by codes. You know what I'm saying, and everything ain't meant to be told. You know what I'm saying, but we could give some insight. So now, man, the game, it is what it is. Entertaining. I like watching it. I like seeing the young guys. You know,
Who you like watching?
man, I'm gonna pay my money to go see Ja. I'm gonna go see Trey Young. I'm gonna go see Kyrie for sure.
Yeah, I
You
see
know,
Kyrie.
I like my man Bones, Pauls, that just signed with the Clippers from Denver.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I
I like Maxey. You know, Tatum. You know, I've always liked players, you know what I'm saying, that you pay your money to go see, because obviously that's how the NBA operate, you know. And those guys put in the work and they just so special. You know, we know, we play the game, and you know, like the things that they do aren't easy, you know, the things night in, night out, but they able to make it look so easy because, man, it's poetry in motion. You know, it's just like, it's art. And if you know, you know. But yeah, those are the guys that I pay to see. Obviously LeBron, you know, coming through. He the homie, you know, one of good friends of mine. And yeah, man. You know, just those guys right now, the up and coming Devin Booker's obviously Phoenix gonna be fun to watch this year. Um, I'm looking to see what Denver do. You know, see if they could bring that energy back. Cause there's a lot of good young players, man, that I don't even know about or I didn't know about name wise. So when you watching these games, like, damn, Shorty, nice. Who that? You know what I'm saying? So like we think Bruce Brown, that's from Denver, right? His last name Bruce Brown. We think him leaving is going to take away from something, but then they got a young boy that's over there in Denver that's doing just what he was doing, if not a better score.
The kid from Gonzaga,
Light skin.
Stronger,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Yep.
And I just seen them playing the preseason now, and I'm like, oh, they gonna be all right.
Yeah.
They gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And then I'm looking to see what Dame and Giannis do. I think Boston's super tough, you know, in that East. So, man, I'm looking forward to the season. And you know, just to back to your question, man, I like the game and what it is, but you know, they need them vets. They need some guys, you know, to keep them in order. You know, and not even keep them in order, but just show them, man, you gotta be professional. There's ways you handle things, there's ways you do things. And, you know, it'll be all right, but it's a learning process. You know, we all had to go through it. You know, we just ain't have social media back then to know all the wild, crazy stuff that was going on.
Man, we ain't had social media
Straight
back
up.
then.
Straight up.
Yes. I'm very happy that we did not
Straight
have
up.
it.
We was outside. For sure.
He's outside, not on YouTube. Let me ask you this. We kind of talked about it, training culture, right? There's such an emphasis, and like you said, players are more skilled, right? But I want to talk about the people actually doing the training. You know what I mean? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's a little too much? Do you think, like, I hear parents like, nah, I gotta get started at age 6, you know, instead of just playing and getting the feel. You know, back in the day, people that trained were actually like good on the court.
Yeah.
Like now, like everybody trained, but you might not be good on the court, but you can do all the moves, but you're not good on the
in
court.
game.
You know what I mean? Like, what's your thoughts on that whole impact?
So I'm gonna speak on mine. So I got an 8 and a 7-year-old, and they mothers, you know, want them to jump into the basketball field or whatnot because of daddy and all. So I'm like, listen, I ain't tripping on pushing them to play basketball or to get into it right now. They'll figure it out what they want to do as they navigate, you know, with their friends in, you know, elementary school, middle school, whatever they end up liking. Right now they love soccer, but their mothers end up putting them in basketball and they getting trainers for them and stuff like that. And I'm like, I work with them, but they ain't paying attention. Their attention span is too short. You know, they all over the place. And then you got some guy with 6 and 7-year-olds who attention span is on point. You know, but I've always told them, I said, anybody that I seen really, really good young end up fizzling out by the time they're in middle school, or the other guys that weren't so good at that time, just naturally they end up playing, learning the game, and then by that time, middle school, when they catch up to them, they better than those guys. You know what I'm saying? I said I seen that so many times, especially when I was growing up. So I'd say, man, take your time. You know, let them just have fun with it. Let them enjoy it. Let them build up some love for the game, opposed to pushing it on them. and making them, and like, you know, I got my little brother, man, he got his son, and he be pushing them super hard, you know what I'm saying? And I be telling him like, man, lighten up. And you know, he be like, man, I need that. He be like, cause I didn't play, but I got the passion as if I played, you know, and I wanted to play, so I want my little man to, you know, maximize it, cause I ain't had my pops to push me. That's how he talking. And I'm like, I understand that, but also you gotta, you know, be able to gauge it with your child and see what's going on. So, you know, the kids are a lot more skilled today in the game. So obviously the training is working in some capacity, but I think that 6, 7 year old training and all that, I think that's a little too much.
What age would you think is to start doing that training stuff?
Man, 9, 10, depending on when they, you know, into it heavy. Like if you got a child that just pick up the basketball every day and just want to do it, then of course basics, you know, you teach them. But this game is instinct. You know, like you got to be able to read and react. You got to be able. I could work on cones, spin moves, and all that. Then when I get in the game, in my mind, I'm just spinning and for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I see it a lot. I see guys in the game do stuff. I'm like, wow, you could have just went right to the move, to the basket. You know what I'm saying? But I know that comes from the robotic nature of them training and working every day like that. When we just went outside and played, you know, we played with the older dudes. In order to get on the court, we had to wait on the side. You know, we had to force our way in. You know, now we next. Then they pushing us down, they fouling us, they, you know, excuse my language, fucking us up. That's what got us tough. Now these guys are a little soft, they, you know, tender, they whining, their mother's baby, like, you know what I'm saying? If they get fouled, they parents ready to go off. This is a part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Stop make sure your child not so emotional. Make sure he has some balance within him, that he can withstand what's going on. So, you know, that's all I tell the parents, you know, like, just know your child and know what they're capable of, you know, handling and whatnot, what's doing the most, what's pushing them too much. But man, that's to each his own. But I just think, you know, it's a little early. Like my youngest, he the one, he wanted. He come, hey dad, can we go practice this? And I'm like, sure. But then the other one, he be chilling, like, But when it comes to that soccer, he going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let him play soccer, man. Look, we versatile, we international with it. I got buddies over there, you know, it's a different world. We can go live later in life and, you know, it'd be different. Because I seen it. I seen when I was in Turkey, Germany, young guys with their parents playing for them soccer team, them football team, 18, 20 million pounds, euros, they playing in London, you know. So it's a whole different world, it's a whole different situation. And now we know, because now football becoming big in America, you know, but it's still huge over there and the number one thing for sure.
So we got a game that I like to play. We ain't figured out a name. What's the name? We call it either or, right? But we ain't got no cups or no drinks right now, right? You know, shout out to drink camps.
We need some coffee. You know, some espresso shots.
So you could choose one or you could choose both. All right, Glenn Farello or Bobby Lutz? Lutz.
Man, Farello.
Farello, okay. Rose or Charlotte?
Charlotte.
Okay. Delonte Holland or Delonte West?
Man, that's a what's that?
You can say both.
Both, yeah, both. Them my guys, man.
All right. Dipset or Locks?
Locks.
Okay. Bodega or Carryout?
Bodega.
Oh, okay. You still New York.
And you know why? It's because, man, I just was talking to my peoples, man, the other day, and I said, man, you don't know what it's like walking that bodega, man. And it's crazy, and I hate to do this, but I would do it because I'm, you know, me. But I remember walking the bodega as a kid, and they playing you know, my Habibis playing the music, and they got the joint that's going, Me, I ain't. And they got that playing through the store. As a kid, I didn't know what that was, but the tune was just, it hit me, right? And I looked to the right, you got the cat sitting on a loaf of bread, chilling. Hey, Poppy, man, let me get a butter roll, man, with the jelly on it. You feel me? If it's after school, man, I need the beef patty with the cheese, slice it. Let me get that. And that's better than, man, 4 wings, mumbo sauce, French fries on side. That's what I knew first.
I don't agree, but that's why I got my,
repping it. I just got back to Egypt. Yeah, I'm gonna go bodega with them peoples.
So we used to get this argument back at school all the time. Did Nike boots come from DC or did they come from New York?
Man, listen. DC.
Okay, y'all heard that.
DC.
Okay, thank you. John Morant. Oh,
and hold up, in DC, because like a staple is boom, not all them different colors. So like in New York, they rocking the army green joints, they rocking the brown joints. We were straight Gordones, black. You know what I'm saying? So DC.
Okay.
Got that.
All right, John Morant or Derrick Rose?
They special, son. Derrick Rose was something else. See, Derrick Rose was quiet. I'm more of a Ja Morant swag type nigga, like, so I'm going with Ja.
Okay.
Yeah, Ja, man, he turned up. Y'all know we out here, man. We outside.
All right, D Wade or Paul Pierce?
Man, Paul Pierce, man.
Ooh, so, a lot of people don't even acknowledge that.
Yeah, Paul Pierce, man. He the truth for a reason, man.
Melo or T-Mac?
Melo.
Okay, that was easy. Melo or Paul Pierce?
Melo.
Okay. All right. Kobe or Bron?
Bron.
Okay.
I seen Bron firsthand, man. On an everyday basis, man. Work ethic, you know what I'm saying? Just impact, you know what I'm saying? Just awe, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people always ask, like, man, what is he like? Because, a lot of times, when you walking and passing, I ain't stopping, I ain't taking no pictures type. But, man, that's the total opposite. You kind of can't. You got to keep him moving. But, man, he's such a selfless guy. He going to help you in any way he can. He just, the other guys, they kind of like, damn, I hate to say it, like assholes, you know what I'm saying? Like we heard the stories about people that played with Kobe, how he talked to him and treated him. We heard about Mike, but we hear about Bron. You see what I'm saying? He don't treat his teammates the same, and everybody personality different, but that's my guy, and I'm gonna go with him.
All right, last one. Bron or MJ?
Both. I said all that. Man, I signed with the Bulls, man, because of MJ. You know what I'm saying? That's probably where I went wrong. You feel me? I should have signed with Dallas, and I probably had 12 years in. And it's crazy because, man, when you look at hindsight, that's how I feel. If I had signed with Dallas instead of the Bulls, I'm 12 years in the league. You know what I'm saying? Just because of fit, style, personnel. They had real vets in front of them. I went to a team with a lot of young guys. Ben Gordon, Luol Deng, Tyson Chandler, even though he went straight from high school, he had a few years in the league to know the league. But Kurt Heinrich, all these guys was 2-3 year players. They wasn't vets 5+ years where if I'm going through something, I can talk to them and they really like trying to give me game. Those guys still looking at me as like competition. You feel me? And if I get an up on them, then they might be out of there and I get that deal. So I'm not saying that was the relationship, but I'm just saying when you look at the totality of your career and things, you just get to looking at stuff like that. But if I'd have went over to Dallas, You know, you got a Jason Terry, you got an Avery Johnson, black coach. They could, you know, understand. They more prone to giving you an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to the other side looking like it's just his job.
Yeah.
If he works hard, he gets it. If not, you know. And then a lot of variables, man, with getting time with vets on your team. Because a vet get hurt, they taking their time to come back. They ain't rushing. So that give you an opportunity. They give you a 2-week window.
Yeah.
4 to 6 games. When it's a youngin that get hurt, they could wrap it up and still get out there because they trying to get to their contract. So, you know, those are two differences, but that's when you look back at it all. But nonetheless, man, it was a beautiful career, man, and, you know, I'm happy how it turned out. Man, friends all over the world, like genuine, real families took me in when I was in those countries because I wanted to learn the culture. And then, like I said, I just was that kind of person. Anybody who know me, they know. Like, we could sit, chop it up about anything. You know, I'm all about vibes and positivity. So,
the last question, man. They always say success is a terrible teacher, right? But you learn more from your mistakes. You know, like, what mistakes that you comfortable sharing that helped you become a better player or a better man?
I would just say, man, growing up, because I was a figure it out kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I was outside. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with my mother, my grandmother, my sister. You know, that's women. So in order for me to figure out how this world worked or how this thing went, I had to go and really be in the mix. So
Banged your head a lot.
yeah, and not per se having like a big homie, a big brother, or a big cousin or something like that was doing the right thing. You know, like I said, I gave the example of picking the Bulls over Dallas. I picked it because of Mike and the championships and the hype and Bulls, Chicago. When if I would have had a big homie, a mentor to talk to, we could have strategically planned it, mapped it out, seen what made sense. Oh, now, I asked my agent the right questions. So stuff like that. Not asking them the right questions, not really being on my agent. That was probably one of my mistakes in my career, where I think it could have went different for sure if I'd have asked the right questions or knew the questions to ask. So yeah, just man, closed mouth don't get fed, and you know, ain't no question a dumb question. If you don't know, you don't know. So man, ask and see, you know, what the response is. But those probably, you know, the things that probably, you know, hindered me. But
Well, man, we're going to wrap up another episode of Game Related. I definitely want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Had a good time.
Great episode. Parents, kids, athletes, man. I hope y'all took a listen. Eddie gave some great advice on, you know, what to do, what not to do, you know, asking questions, you know, celebrate his career. You had a great career, Holmes. It was a pleasure watching you over the years. You know what I mean? So y'all stay tuned for next week's episode.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Stay game related.
Man, if there's any other thing that you go ahead, Joe.
Oh yeah. Then y'all can check me out, man. We about to start our season 2. We got our own podcast. It's called Smoking Things Podcast, and that's with me and a couple other buddies of mine. And yeah, got a new spot, new bar opening, rendezvous, membership only, invite only. You got to be one of the ones. It's the standard, the quality. ShowTymE, y'all know what it is, man. We out.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
We got relations. You know it's game related. Don't do this to be famous. I really